Well, I'm here to defend the pitchers first. I was an athlete. Okay, let's talk about pitching routine, the path to consistency and success. Okay, what is a routine and what is so important? Why is it so important in baseball? A routine is are the actions and behaviors that we add to our daily life to get the things that we want. And why they're so important in baseball? Well, because they promote self-discipline, they promote consistency, and they promote a mental and physical preparation. When we follow a routine, it creates discipline. When we have discipline, we're able to go out there knowing that it doesn't matter, to get the things that you want in life, it would take dedication, it would take sacrifices, and it would take self-control to choose the right choices. And at the same time, it will take a lot of resilience too. So because in baseball, as I said yesterday, baseball is a tough game, and things are not gonna go the way you want every day. So you need to have resilience, and you need to have the right kind of mental toughness, so you can keep your head up, and then you can follow the path regardless of what happens. So when it comes to consistency, as we practice specifically the things that we need to improve on, with the repetition, it's going to help us to get where we want. It's going to help us improve, and it's going to help us get better. And when it comes to the mental and physical preparation, every time we have a routine, it's gonna help you trust in your abilities, and it's gonna help you just concentrate on the goals that you had ahead. And in the physical conditions, the routines, they're specifically done to enhance the physical conditions. So with this in mind, you're gonna work on things that is gonna help you get better. It's gonna help you have a lot of health and play for a longer time, and it's gonna help you to be there out there for your team when they need it, when they need you the most. In any areas in our life, when we think about success, the first thing we have to think about is discipline. Without discipline, there's nothing that you can get in this life. And you can ask any professional athlete, you can ask musicians, you can have people that work in the government, anything. They need discipline. And that's one of the best things about having a routine. A routine is going to help you. It's going to promote having self-discipline. Let's talk about now something that we're living right now in baseball that is an amazing thing. Like, we talk about Shohei Ohtani, the Superman of baseball. I mean, that guy can run, he can play defense, he can pitch, he can do it all. It's something that we never seen before. The only one that that did it how he's doing it right now is Bugs Bunny from Looney Tunes cartoon. Yeah, most of you, if you saw the cartoons, Bugs Bunny was able to get on the mound. He threw the pitch, then he had time to go hit the ball and then play defense. So the only one he can do like him is Shohei Ohtani. So when we think about him, like, he can do it all, and we say, like, you imagine the kind of discipline and the kind of routine that guy has to have. But in the opposite way, you think about, what about if he doesn't have a routine? How can he put everything together? It's gonna be impossible. And I know, like, most of you guys, you think about it, But in action, like, I was able to be there and then prepare myself as a starting pitcher. That's one of the hardest things. Imagine when you had to switch between hitting, running, pitching. So that guy has to have one of the most precise routines in baseball. So routines, they work. And it doesn't matter what part in our life, if you don't have a good routine, you're not gonna get too far. And even if you get there because you have so much talent, you're probably not gonna get to your top, or you're not gonna be able to stay there for a long time, because discipline and then having a good routine is the main thing. When we start in something, especially like me, before I signed as a professional baseball, I had a routine. I only knew about playing long toss every other day, running distance, running up hills, stairs. That's what we do in the Dominican. That's how you prepare players. But then as soon as I signed, I learned new stuff. I learned how to have a routine at the gym, which I didn't do before. I learned how to add a shoulder stabilization routine to keep my shoulder and arm healthy. And then every time you go through baseball, in every level, you're gonna add and you're gonna subtract for the things that works for you until you finally find what works for you. But a routine, like, I know that baseball is going kind of crazy right now. Everyone is trying to create their own things, and they want to kind of delete what had happened in the game for the last 200 years, and they just want to make new things. Now you see they tell you starting pitchers, they don't need to run. They don't need to run distance, because distance is not good for you. Some scientists just came with the idea that, you know what, distance doesn't do anything to you. And I'll be the first one to tell you, until you get on that mound and you throw 100 pitches and you go out there for 34 games, especially in Colorado, now you don't tell me that distance don't do anything for you. Because that is the hardest part right now about the game. It's changing so much. People are coming with new stuff, which I'm not against it. I was talking to one of the coaches this morning. Whatever can help you, whatever resources you have available that is going to make you better, use it. But now you can't erase the foundation of the game. It's not going to work like that. That now people are saying that you don't need to run. The running, it's like, I was talking to Tom, it's like you tell a boxer, why are you going to run distance if you're not going to run in the ring? Imagine that, like, boxers, that's how they prepare. They run long distance, they run stuff, and it's all for endurance. So they can go out there and compete and throw punches for, 10, 12 rounds. Imagine, or you tell a soccer player, like, hey, you don't know to run distance because you only do a sprint for 2 hours. Okay, then how are you going to endurance running for 2 hours? So I know baseball is different it's now, but especially for you guys that are coaches and have the younger guys, it is really good that you stay with the foundation of baseball, where you can prepare your kids and show them the right way. If they go pro or whatever and then they had to learn new things, okay, that would be perfect. But for you, you gotta teach your kids new things, the traditional thing, and that's the foundation of baseball. I had something to say. When I was in the major league at first, one of my routine that I took as personal, which I use for my games. Like 2 days before I pitch, I will never go out. I will never go out. I will never have fun or do anything that go with that, with going out, because I was trying to concentrate for my game. As a starting pitcher, you only have one chance every 5 days in the major league. So if you have a tough game, you had to wait 4 days in between. So for me, that was sacred. My style was sacred. And the day before, I turned off my phone every time. And then my family, they knew about it, especially my mom who lived with me, and then my wife. And they all contribute with me. They were able to, hey, you know what? You had to turn off your phone because you had to get ready. And that is part of your routine. That was part of my routine on how I got ready for the games. And then it's like drinking coffee, you know, like you get up at 7 and you drink a cup of coffee every day. And the day you don't, you're gonna feel different. But once you do it like every day, your body and mind knows that you're ready for something. You're ready to get to work. You're ready to do whatever you have to do that day. So that's one of the great things about having a routine. It prepares you mentally and physically. That it tells you right away, you know, it's time. The time is getting closer. When I didn't go out 2 days before my start, already my mind was processing that. I was like, okay, now you only have one more game to get ready. And that's why having a routine is so important in life. Okay, how routines can help pitchers, especially for you guys, coaches, like I say, you have younger guys. First, because it promotes discipline. Promote consistency, mental preparation, and physical preparation. Okay, this pitcher throwing routine that I took this routine, it was from a baseball academy. Let me move this side so you all can see. It's from a baseball academy in the Dominican Republic. It's a professional baseball academy. I don't know if most of you guys know, but in the Dominican Republic, each team in the major league, they have a baseball academy over there. So they sign young guys around 16, 17 years old, and you have to go there in the complex. They have a Dominican Summer League, and that's where you start getting ready. Players from Dominican Republic, Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, from everywhere in Latin countries, you first have to go to the Dominican Republic. So I asked the coaches about their routine so you can have an updated version of what they do every day so you can use it. This is a 5 days routine. This is like I say, it's a professional routine, and it's for kids that are 16, 17 years old. I know that in your cases, it's a little bit different because you don't get to play, you don't get to practice every day, so you don't get to play every day, but still, I want you to have this routine because that's something that you should look up to. That's something that's what you want to get. I know that your programs are a little bit, right now, a little bit late in the United States or the Dominican, but as country and as a baseball program, that's what you want to get. So it is a good thing that you have it in mind. On the first day of a pitching routine, you always start with pre-throwing activation and warm-up. Tomorrow I'm going to be talking about arm care, and then there I'm going to be defining all the exercises that they do so they can get ready for it. But you should always teach the pre-throw activation and warm-up. One of the things that I would love to tell myself, younger Ubaldo, I don't know, younger 20 years old, it was to concentrate more on the warm-up and activation. Because when you are young, you can get out of bed, You do a sprint and you're ready to throw right away, right? But as you get older, you get in your 20s, you get in your 30s, it gets a little bit harder and it gets a little bit tougher to lift that arm and for the recovery. When we talk about activation and warm-up, don't think about like just for the day or for the season. You have to prepare your kid for the long haul. It's to play for the long run. In baseball, like I say, many kids, you're telling, hey, just go out there, and they're gonna be ready right away. But as coaches, you need to encourage players to work on their warm-ups. That's one of the most important things, because it's gonna decrease the chances of suffering pain or suffering injuries in the long run. So a throwing program looks like this in a professional baseball academy in the Dominican. They play catch for 15 minutes. They go to 140 feet. I know most of you guys use the meters. It's 43 meters, about 43 meters. That's how far they go. Like the Dominican Republic is known by developing great arms. And they've been doing that for, I don't know, for about 100 years, and it's all about playing long toss. They're not scared to play long toss every day. I know that professional teams, they minimize the use of long toss a little bit because they don't want the pitchers to get hurt. But if you're not a professional player in the Dominican, when you're like 12, 13, you're gonna be playing catch every day, and you're gonna be playing long toss. And one of the things is like when you have your players playing long toss, make sure they try to throw a line drive. Because when the kids are in a long distance, they're trying to get the ball over there, and they're trying to throw fly balls. And what that does is like once they get in the mound, they get bad habit, because everything is gonna be releasing up instead of down. That is the same like when you play long toss, you throw line drive, and the kids are gonna be able to use their follow through and release the ball over here. So that's something to keep in mind. For the first 3 minutes, they should go to 60 feet, that's 80 meters, and play catch for 3 minutes. Then they move up to 90 feet, that's 27 meters. Then 120 feet for 2 minutes, 140 feet for 2 minutes. And then they come back to 75 feet. There, when you have your pitchers, when they come back from long distance, try teaching to throw with the cross hop. Don't go like some pitchers, they're trying to do this, they're trying to push up only, and that's what does is they put a lot of pressure on your arm, because the mound is only 60 feet apart. So if you go 75 feet and then you're trying to do that, that's not gonna help. So you want them to use the cross hop to help their shoulders. And when they get to be at 75 feet, they should start using their changeup. One of the important things about pitching, especially developing young players, they should try to develop the changeup. Why? Because changeup is one of the pitches that feels like a fastball. You're not gonna throw a breaking ball that far because it's probably gonna break your elbow. So, but with the changeup, it's just gonna look like the fastball. It's gonna feel like the fastball, and then it's gonna make you feel confidence once you get to be a little bit shorter. Okay, then from 75 feet, you move to 60 feet again. That's the distance from the mound, and then you start working on all your pitches. Players at that time, they need to use their whole wind-up. Instead of the cross hop, they go back to the mechanics and then use all of the pitches. Okay, day 2. We go back to pre-throwing activation and warm up. Like I said, you have to put a lot of emphasis on that. Everything you do, you have to teach kids to warm up. Like I've been in the United States a few times. Like I have my one of my nephews is 5 years old. I take him to T-ball, and the first thing that I see, like they don't teach them how to warm up. They don't even tell it to run or anything. They just go straight to practice. They go run up to first base. They don't teach you anything about how to start the days and things like that. And the younger they are, that's when you wanna put it in the right mindset so they can learn and get used to it. Okay, on the day 2, after you do the throwing program again, you go to 150 feet, and that's the day where you work on your bullpen or side session. Like I was talking to some coaches and I heard like some of them, they used to throw in the bullpens 35 to 45 pitches, and then that's a lot of pitches. That's like being in the game. You should minimize the use of pitches. Because like I said yesterday, your arm is like a shotgun. You need to reserve those bullets. You don't want to use it all right away. So with 25, 35 pitches, that's enough for a bullpen, because you're just getting ready for your game, for your next game. Okay, day 3, that's when you recover from your bullpen. That's the day you only go 120 feet long, and you just do it for 8 minutes. Like I say again, you're trying to save that arm. Still, you need to play catch, because after you play in the game or like you throw bullpens, you don't want to start throwing the next day. Because if you have experience as a pitcher, you know, like you take one day off and the next day you're gonna feel like you never thrown a pitch in your life. So you want to keep warming up. Okay, day 4 is throwing program. You go back to 120 feet for 8 to 10 minutes. It depends on how you feel and how the players feel. You can ask them. That's why coaches need to establish communication with the players so they can know how they feel. Because every day is not the same. You might feel good today, but the other days you won't. Day 5, game day. That's the day, the most important game for the pitcher. It's the day you pitch. That's why you work so hard for. You spend 4 days of the week getting ready for that game. That's why I did a lot of sacrifices in my life. And one of the things that I always thought, it was like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to be ready for that game, because if something goes wrong, I don't want to make any excuses. I'm not gonna be saying, oh, things went bad because this or because that. No, I did all I could just to get ready for that game. Okay, and for the game day, you want your pitchers to play catch as they feel. Like, it's not you as coach, it's there. You ask them how far you want to go, are you feeling good, are you ready to get on the mound? That's why it's good to have communication with your pitchers. Then they get on the mound, on the bullpen, and they warm up again. They should only throw about 25 to 35 pitches before a game. That's enough. You don't want to throw more than that. Okay, so let's go to the flat ground routine. When we talk about flat ground, is the part of the field where you play catch, right? When you're off the mound. So one of the things is like when you have young kids and you tell them, hey, go to the line and play catch, some of them just take it for granted. They just go warm up doing this. But in baseball, and if you want to get ready, if you want to learn, if you want to perform better every day, every pitch should be thrown with a purpose. And that's how with the flat ground work. Because in the flat ground, that's where you spend most of your part. I mean, you only get to throw in the game one time, and you might throw in the bullpen one time. But in the flat ground, you play catch every day. So that's the flat ground is one of the most important part for the pitcher. And then as coaches, you need to promote that kind of thought. You need to let it know, hey, you know what? Every pitch you throw in the flat ground, it has to be counted. You have to work on your balance. You need to work on your follow through. When you have, you need to work with your catching partner. You can even ask them to give them feedback from each other. You have to tell them. Use the target. You can watch your partner chest and try to hit as many times as you can. And that's the thing. You have every time you have a chance, you have to work, and that's how you get better in baseball. Okay, I got a video right here. One of these guys, the young guy right here, he's only around 15. I went to Honduras last year. I went to the baseball clinic there with MLB player alumni. And then I went to the island of Roatan, Honduras. I sent it a small island. I wouldn't ever think that they play baseball in Honduras because they're all about soccer. When we got there, I saw so many kids that they love the game of baseball that as soon as I left, I talked to the coaches and I invited them to the Dominican Republic. I told them, you know what? I would love you if you could come to the Dominican Republic so I can take you around. I can bring you to the Rockies Academy so you can see how they prepare players and things like that, because I know they're going to have some future over there. So I asked the Major League for permission, and I asked the Rockies to allow me to go to the complex, and they did. So they spent a week over there learning about, especially coaches, learning about how to prepare players, and the players, they got to hang out with professional players, and they got to sleep in the complex and things like that, and it was an amazing experience. And this guy is one of them. This is a Rockies baseball complex in the Dominican. You see all the pitches that they line up over here, and every pitch they throw, it has to be with a purpose. In the Dominican Republic, they sign around 4,000 players every year, just in the Dominican Republic. That's without counting the guys from Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, and all of those guys, they had to be prepared in their complex, their academy. So besides taking it to a professional installation in the Dominican, I also took into some of the most 4 places in the Dominican, so they can see that regardless of what you have, you always can get better. Everything starts from the bottom, but it doesn't matter where you are right now. If we work hard every day, you ask God with His help, and then things can change. I took them there for that, so they can learn and they can see that everything is possible. This is the guy again. So, let me see, let me go back. Okay. So when they finish throwing long toss, they play catch in the flat ground. And one of the partners, they had to get down and act like a catcher, and then they switch. That's how you get ready. That's how you get ready and prepare as a pitcher, because as I said, you don't get a chance to be in the pitcher's mound every day. The flat ground is where you had to do all your work every day, so you had to take advantage of that. And when you do that with your pitchers, you have to make sure they learn. It's not about how hard they throw. It's about executing pitches. It's about repeating their mechanics. So look, when you have young guys, the first thing they want to do is throw hard, and they might hit someone in the face. So you got to make sure that you're telling that, you're teaching that. Oh. Okay. You see, it's not about throwing hard. It's just about repeating your mechanics and executing pitches. And they do that with every pitches they have. Changeup, breaking balls. Okay, now let's go to the bullpen or side work routine. First, we always start with a pre-throw activation and warm-up program. Then it's always a good idea to use a towel drill before they start throwing in the bullpen, because as you work with the towel, it's going to help you repeat your mechanics. One of the coaches asked me earlier that if the towel really works and how does it work. And I tell him that the towel acts like you have a normal baseball in your hand. The only thing is that you're working your follow through. It's like you do your mechanics like you have a ball, right? But then when you get out front, you hit it out front. That's how you're gonna get used to release your ball down. And then as coaches, you can use a catcher's mitt. Can you hear me out right here? Okay. So you as a coach, you go over here and you stand like this. Yes. Yeah. That's so you can have a low target. And then you tell your pitcher just to do the mechanics. You stay back and then hit. That's what it's gonna help the kids release the ball down in the strike zone, and then they're gonna be able to repeat the mechanic and stay in the tunnel with their motion going toward home plate. Thank you. So after they do the tower drill for about 5 to 10 times, they get on the mound. And the first thing they need to work on, especially young kids, is working on their fastball command. I know like many kids, they're eager to go out there and throw breaking balls. No, but you as coaches, that's the first thing you need to help them understand. It's all about commanding your fastball. And every breaking ball that you throw, it has to go off your fastball. If you don't have a good fastball command, it's going to be really hard to throw breaking balls for strike. So one of the routines that I used to do my whole career, it was I got on the mound, I threw 5 fastballs right down the middle. Then after the first 5 fastballs, I moved the catcher to the outside corner. I threw 5 more fastballs. Then I went to the inside corner. because that was my mindset, establishing the fastball first. When you throw in a bullpen session, you gotta think about it like a game. Like I said, we playing catch. A lot of guys just go to the mound and they start doing this, all lazy and things like that. No. When you have a chance to get on the mound, you have to throw with a purpose. You have to visualize like you're in the game. You have to have that. You need to have that mindset that you're facing the team that you're supposed to face next. At that time, you can practice deep breath. One of the things that helped me a lot, and probably a lot of people don't think about it, but it makes a huge difference, it's about breathing. When you breathe, when you take deep breath, it helps you relax. Especially when you're facing a guy that is pretty good and things like that, things are gonna go fast in your brain. So every time in between pitches, you take a deep breath, you show your kid that, and then you're gonna help them stay back and relax. After you establish your fastball, you can ask your kids to work on throwing breaking balls if they have. First, work on their best one, and then they go from there. The last 10 pitches of the bullpen are really essential, because one of the approach that I took always when I threw a bullpen, it was that the last 10 pitches I was gonna face a hitter. I visualized I was facing a hitter, and I even asked a coach every time for my last 10 pitches. I asked him, "Can you please stand on home plate?" So as a hitter, so I can see where I want to throw, and I just work the count. I started like, okay, you give me. Then I asked the catcher to give me the time, to give me all the pitches, and I needed to execute it with the last 10 pitches. From there, you can switch to the or either lefty or righty, so you can work on both sides. One of the things that they do in Major League Baseball, not only in the minors, when you have a pitcher throwing a bullpen, it's a good idea to bring all of your pitchers, because that way they know, they can see what their teammates are working on, and they can provide essential feedback. It's not the same like when you're hearing things from a coach than hearing it from a teammate that they go, hey, you're doing this, you're doing that. And that helps a lot, especially on a kid, and it doesn't matter the level where you're playing. Okay. For the game day routine, one of the first things you need to prepare your kid is the mental preparation. When you get ready for the game, one of the approaches that you need to have is you have to take it just like another game. I know it sounds easy when you go out there and, hey, think about the game just like another game. But it is hard. But as professionals, that's what we do. On the game day, we only think about, hey, you know what? It's another game. I'm not gonna think about it like it's a big game and things like that, because you don't wanna stress yourself. You don't wanna put more pressure on your mind. So one of the approaches is just another game. It is another game, and things are gonna be easy. Let's go to the last point over here. You have to keep a positive mind. Learn from mistake and move on. In baseball, you have to forget quick. There's no chance to stay stuck on things that happen. Even if it is the pitch before, the inning before, or the game before. In baseball, you have to forget. You have to have one of those minds that, like, you know what, I don't care what happened. Even if you don't show it, but that's the kind of approach that you have in your mind, and that's one of the things that you need to teach your kid. is to have that mindset.
That is?
Yeah, there you go.